have now won your green card. What next? What next after you've won your green card and you're looking to immigrate to the United States of America? While I'm targeting individuals that are already in the process of moving, maybe they're just waiting for their second notification letter so they can move. I believe that this video may also be relevant even for those who have applied for the green card and are waiting for results next year. So if you're in that category, you won or are waiting and hoping that you get a positive outcome on your application, stick around because this video may be helpful to you. Guys, I want to talk about how you prepare yourself to move to a new country because as you know, leaving your home country, when you immigrate, you're leaving your home country and going to start a new life in another country. And that means that you're leaving your old life behind. You're not going to be living the life you were living in your country in that other country, because the other country where you're going has a different culture, a different way of doing things, especially if you're moving to the United States of America. You're going to find that things there are very different than they were back home in Africa, if you're coming from the Africa region, that is. Okay, so now what do you do? How do you prepare yourself to make this big move? Okay, one of the things that I would like to recommend, number one, be ready to learn new things, guys. Be ready to learn new things, things that you may never have done before. You're going to have to be ready for that. One of the things that you need to learn when you enter a new culture is the language. Okay, the language. If you're coming from Anglophone speaking Africa, countries of Africa where y'all speak English already, you did English at school and you already know English, I highly recommend that you learn the Spanish language. Learn Spanish. Yeah. In the United States of America, you have a very large population of people that speak Spanish, and so a lot of the jobs they advertise, they're usually looking for people that speak Spanish apart from English. So they look for people that are multilingual, speaking English and Spanish. This ability to be multilingual is very useful in the United States of America, guys. And I'm not even playing, like, I'm telling you the truth, because I have been there and I know, and I wish I had learned Spanish. Yeah, because let me just give you an example. On the west coast of the US, and this is just an example, in places like Oregon, Washington State, California, they have high numbers of foreign-born immigrants, and many of them are speaking these languages like Spanish. Some of them even are coming from Africa, so they're speaking Lingala, Swahili, Kinyarwanda, Kirundi, these things. So if you end up on the West Coast in cities like Seattle, Portland, Oregon, places like that, and you can speak these languages, these can be very useful for you. You can do translation for different organizations, because they're usually needing people that can translate for them, for new immigrants who are not very conversant in English. And so if these new immigrants are looking for services, whether it's healthcare, mental health issues, a variety of services that they might need, very often, especially on the West Coast, they'll be hiring, people that can do interpretation. So you can interpret from English into Spanish, English into Lingala, English, Swahili, these languages. So it's very important, guys, that while you wait for your paperwork to be processed, you learn that language. You begin it. You can go online, watch videos, start learning the language, start learning Spanish. If you're coming from Francophone Africa and you speak French, but your English is not so strong, start working on English. Start working on improving your English language skills, okay? Because you'll need that. You will need it. Another point that I want to make, guys, even as we think about immigration and as we think about how we adapt to a new culture, one of the things that you need to be open to doing, guys, is be open to entering a new field of work. Yeah. So maybe back at home, you were doing something entirely different. You may have been doing business, or you may have been doing, I don't know, whatever field you were in. But now, as you look to move to the United States of America, guys, you have to be ready to enter a new field, because when you arrive in the US, the opportunities may not be in the field that you trained for. Okay, so you're going to be looking to undergo new training to enter new fields. All right, I'm just going to list really quickly some of the fields you may consider as new fields of work. Yeah, and it's some of them you already know. You may consider going into nursing, or different types of healthcare opportunities. um, so you could become a nursing professional, or even a medical doctor. You could become a mental health care practitioner. You could become an IT person. First of all, let me tell you guys, IT is high end. Cybersecurity, because I know a lot of people that watch my channel are young people. If you're into IT, computer stuff, name it, this is the time for you to shine. If you go to places like North Carolina, oh, there's lots of opportunities there for people that are in the IT field. So consider training in IT. Also, there is caregiving for seniors, for seniors who may have, certain challenges that are related to their aging process, whether it's things like dementia, Alzheimer's, memory issues, or just other, healthcare related issues that are tied to aging. There's lots of opportunity in that field. And also caring for children with special needs, or teaching children with special needs, or just teaching in general. That's another field. And then there's construction, there is engineering, a lot of STEM opportunities, guys. So if you are not already having training in these fields, start thinking. Start thinking, what is it that I can do in any of these fields? Then when you arrive in the United States as a new immigrant, you may not have the money to go and start a new degree right away. But what you could do is you could just get an odd job, any of those jobs that don't require a lot of training. And then as you're doing that job, you're putting away money, saving money to be able to now go and pursue one of these fields that I just pointed out to you, that could really, really help you make more money. Because like in the United States of America, if you're doing nursing, if you're working in the healthcare industry, you make lots of money. If you're doing mental health things, you make a lot of money. And also, guys, you can be a physiotherapist. There's a lot of physiotherapy opportunities as well in the United States. If you're working, just think about working in the healthcare industry. That has lots of opportunities. You need to, just plan yourself how you're going to get to that point. Inspire yourself as well. Because, you have to go online and research and think about, what would it cost for me to do this training in this field, and just look around for these opportunities. Get the information you need first and foremost, and then you start planning it in your mind. And if once you have arrived in the US, if you end up in the same circles with people that are already doing that type of work, talk to them and let them give you advice. They can point you in the right direction, guys. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to share. That's number one, being open to new things and entering a new field. All right. Then, and number two, developing a positive sense of self. Developing a positive sense of self. Guys, I feel like this issue touches on, many of us. Many of us grow up, and sometimes we grow up, especially those of us who have grown up in Africa, we grow up in very challenging situations. Yeah. Challenging situations. And sometimes as a child, who knows what has happened to you when you are a child? Maybe somebody, an adult, a parent, a caregiver, may have abused you or told you things that made you feel like that you don't have worth, you don't have value, or they just kept on discouraging you, making you feel like there are certain things you can't do, you can't attain this. Like even teachers, sometimes teachers in schools, they just say negative things to children. And so over time, as you grow up, sometimes you don't feel that confidence. You don't feel like you can do certain things. You start thinking that maybe those things can only be done by a certain caliber of people. So, guys, I'm here to break it down to you that all of us need to work on our sense of selfhood, how we feel on the inside. This is very important because how you feel on the inside will be projected on the outward, in how you interact with people, how you speak with people, what you do in everyday life, how you perform at work. All of these things are tied to the inner person, okay? So it's very important, guys, that you work on the inner person. Inner person. I forgot to do something before I started this video, guys. I don't know how I forgot this. If you stick around for a second, I'm coming. I'm right back. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I was talking about the inner person and how we improve our inner sense of self. Guys, we have to do that by working on ourselves, and we do that by reading. Recently, about a month ago, a little over a month ago, I got this beautiful book from a friend I met on the internet. Believe it or not, it's a Kenyan American lady. I just developed a friendship with her, What It Takes to Heal. I developed a friendship with her online. She's a mental health care practitioner in the US. And, we just met online, we became friends. And guess what? One day she just was telling me about this book. And I said, wow, that's a nice book. And she said, if you want, I can send you a copy in the mail. And so guess what? I just shared my address with her and she sent the copy my way. And since then, we've become good friends. She's always checking on me. How you doing? What's going on? Stuff like that. So it's very important for you to find ways to improve the inner man. And one of those ways is reading books. This is another book I'm looking to read. It's Michelle Obama's a book called Becoming. And I think it was published back some years ago in 2018 or thereabouts, but it's a very good book. I've started to read some of the beginning, the first chapter, and I found it very interesting. All of this material I'm showing you are just examples, guys. I have another book here. This is by a Kenyan author. It's an interesting title. It says, Chipped, Cracked, and Broken. Yeah, so I'm looking to read this one as well. The reason I'm sharing all this, guys, is just to let you know that if you want to work on your inner person, you need to read books that will motivate you. And if you're not a book person and you just feel like, oh, I don't want to read a book, you can just go online on the YouTube channels. There's a lot of people that are always sharing material that is motivational. So you could just do a search on YouTube and find you videos that will motivate you, boost who you feel you are on the inside. If you don't have that confidence, start to work